Hello. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's okay because that's the beauty of a live show. Welcome to Sikich Live number 33. We're going to get a bird's eye view of your customer with Dynamics 365 CE. Michael DeGeeter is not here as your host today, so I'm filling in. I'm Ryan Olson. And to channel a little bit of Michael, though, I want to be sure to let you know that you can subscribe to Sikich Live by following and liking the social media page you're watching this from, be it from LinkedIn, be it from YouTube, Facebook, all those places. You can subscribe and get weekly updates and notifications as to when Sikich Live goes live. So as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about Dynamics 365 CE, which is their CRM product, and how to get a bird's eye view of your customers. And to do that, we are going to bring on a special guest today. His name is Anthony Senevey, and he is an expert in all things Dynamics 365 CE. So Anthony, welcome to the show after just a little bit of hiccup there. Hopefully we didn't leave you hanging too much.
Hey, Ryan, no worries. It's post-COVID days where technical difficulties, dogs barking, kids yelling, it's kind of expected now. So
I'm just waiting for a big fire truck to come down the road, a circus coming through my door, all that good stuff.
Yep. It wouldn't be a meeting without it, for sure.
But we're not on mute, so I think we're ahead of the game.
You're right. Oh, you just jinxed us now. If one of us had been on mute, we would have been fine for the rest of the call.
So we're going to talk about Dynamics 365 CE. I know you have a lot of experience with the platform itself for a number of reasons. We'll get into that in the show here. But I think let's dial back a little bit and let's talk about CRM platforms just in general and kind of where a lot of companies maybe are currently with their CRM system that might be a legacy system that isn't taking advantage of things like cloud infrastructure or, kind of ease of access. So can we talk a little bit about, what are some of the drawbacks of legacy CRM systems that people are currently using?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, something I hear every day from prospects, customers that we talk to, looking to up their game is, one of the biggest ones is siloed data, right? Everybody's got legacy systems, home-built systems. Even different divisions could be used in something separately. So all that data about your customer, it's really hard to get that view of them and know what's really going on when you have to go into 3 different systems and you hope that people are keeping that updated. That also makes it hard when you don't know where the data is, you don't know where to put it. So a lot of people just don't put it anywhere because they don't want to use the system anymore. And there's been a lot of studies and articles released that user adoption is one of the biggest problems when it comes to a CRM system. And that leads to a third problem that we see with a lot of places. They just have no system at all. They have spreadsheets, maybe their contact list and Outlook. They've maybe tried it before, just don't see the value. And then that data is even more dispersed than anywhere else because everybody has their own list or, back in the old days of Rolodex, that information isn't shared at all.
Gosh, yes, I actually do remember Rolodexes. It was on my parents' desk in the basement. But it sounds like there's a lot of different scenarios, places people are at, and a company comes and says, "All right, well, let's kind of rein in some of the chaos." How do you begin to bring it all together?
Well, I think the big thing is just looking at one system, or all the data in one place, and it's across so many different areas, right? You really want marketing and sales and even customer service, even financials, as much of that data as you can get together to be in one place. That way you can view it all at one time instead of having to jump around. And something that's intuitive, right? You don't want to say, okay, we're going to bring all of our data together and we're going to put it in an AS400 and all you have to do is log into the green screen and we're good to go, right? It really is about trying to find a platform instead of just one product. That way it all ties together.
So, of course, Microsoft's a big player in kind of the CRM space with Dynamics 365 CE. How do they fit into kind of all this, creating that complete view of the customer and modernizing things?
Yeah, for me, it's the easy one-word answer. It's just cloud. Especially with Microsoft, as long as they've been around and the offerings they have, just having everything in one cloud that's all Microsoft, that's tied together. And again, since it is that one platform, get that same kind of look and feel, and then everything ties together, right? So I've been working in Office or Outlook, and I go to use part of the Dynamics cloud. It's going to look pretty familiar. It's going to be pretty simplistic, and I can even move between Excel and the interface if I want to look at the data. So, I think their power comes in not only what they built, but the fact that they built on the knowledge, because they've been offering these solutions for decades, and they've taken everything they've learned and again put it into the one Microsoft cloud that everybody can use seamlessly.
And that just makes quality of life, kind of at your desk a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I was thinking earlier when you asked, like, what do you do to bring it together and make it better? And you think about how our environment has changed. It's not only one place and one desk, but one phone, one tablet, wherever you want to access. Again, having it together with Microsoft in the cloud just makes it that much easier.
But I think it would be a little remiss if we don't mention that there are other CRM systems out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, there's why specifically like Microsoft is going to give us this complete view of the customer versus something else. And I know we touched about interoperate, like using the Microsoft 365 stuff, like with Word, but there's got to be something more than just like, well, I can use Word or I can use Excel.
Right. Yeah, and I think it can get tough, especially in the sales and marketing and even service side. There's so much out there you can try, from different vendors, different platforms. But again, I think if you look at like the backbone for us for so long with Microsoft has been, that wide array. Not everybody uses Windows, I understand, but everybody's familiar with Office, everybody's familiar with Excel and Word. Outlook is a huge one with email, and we're all used to that kind of interactive experience and feel with them. And it's just adding on to it. And I think for Microsoft, especially when you look at, I already have a Windows user account through my company that's Active Directory, and that's tied into the cloud. I already have my Office account in the cloud, and when I go in, and look at my Office portal, everything's there. And it's the same for Dynamic CRM. I've got the marketing, I've got sales, I've got the service hub, and for a lot of organizations, even doing field service, it's all in that same place. It's all connected together. I think the single sign-on is a big deal for me too. I hate having to remember logins and go to places. Just once I'm logged in, whatever I open in Microsoft comes up for me and it works. And they're connected. They know about each other, right? So I don't have to go into my CRM, look at my customer, and then switch over to SharePoint and view their documents. It's tied together. If I want a Word template or letter, email, it's all there. It all looks familiar. It all works. A big one for me too is tracking emails in Outlook. If I want a copy of it with the customer, especially with retention policies lately, with everything going to the cloud, it's nice to know that here's an important email from my customer. It'll always be in the CRM system attached to their account that I can view it. And even now they're connecting it with Teams too. And I think all of us are familiar with Teams. I know I live in and out of it every day. So again, even between the Microsoft solution stack, I don't have to be switching between offerings. I can go into Outlook, I can go into Teams and see all my customer data tied to CRM.
And then it can go deeper too, right? Like you can extract like insights and other kind of reports.
Yeah.
As well, based on all this stuff. Yeah,
and I hesitate to talk about it just because there's so much good stuff out there. It can be a little overwhelming, but you've got Power BI, for instance, that can run on top of so many data platforms that you don't even have to integrate between systems. You can just open Power BI from Office and tie that data together. And as they have extended the Power Platform, I think Microsoft calls it the citizen developer. And it's really true because of all these things you wanted to do, whether it be reports or little widgets or apps that you want to build. It was code and it was a developer having to do it. And now the power is at everybody's fingertips. People can go in and make what they want and do what they want. There's still times where data needs to be moved or viewable, and again, that same platform allows you to pick up connectors and have data move between, say, your financial system and Dynamics, like the Business Central, for instance, I want my orders and invoices to be shown in CRM. Again, that's not a developer anymore. It's a part of the platform and moves it for you.
And so I think you touched on a really good point. It actually leads into the next question. So beautiful transition, by the way.
Like it was planned.
Yeah. I mean, is it enough just to like have your CRM, have your ERP, and then just kind of make like a little integration? Like, is there more you can do with like the ERP and CRM, kind of dynamic and interplay there?
There is, and I think it's gotten so much easier with it being in the Microsoft cloud. There's a lot less complexity involved, and there's a lot more, I want to call it usability, but it makes better sense when you're architecting because it takes care of a lot of the gotchas. It used to be, how do we master data? Who owns the account? Is it one system or the other? And what do we do when there's duplicates, or how do we decide what goes where? And again, the fact that everything's running in the same cloud and Microsoft with their experiences put together, a lot of that's taken care of for you again. So I would say even non-technical people can manage those processes without having a lot of overhead or a lot of headaches.
So one thing people don't always know is that here at Sikich, we do use Dynamic CE. And so, a lot of the stuff we talk about, we're also using. So maybe I kind of flip this as to like how you use CE and how this all kind of relates.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the term? I drink the Kool-Aid here too.
Yeah, like eating your own dog food. Like there's a million terms for it.
That's right. Right. I like it when they mix them up. We had a CEO of a company that always said, we drink our own dog food here. But no, it is true. And I think it makes it easier to be an advocate for a product when you are using it daily and have used it for a long time. And again, I say that maybe 10 to 15 years worth of using it, not only as consulting, but, as a company that manages their sales and marketing processes through it. And I've seen it grow. It's always been powerful, but what they do to it that used to be every 2 years became every 1 year. And now it's twice a year, just so much features and functionality that you actually use, right? It's not just bells and whistles. But again, I manage my sales pipeline through it on a daily basis, and the usability and information I get out of it and how easy it is to use makes it hard to not be excited about it.
Right.
For instance, which it's a little bit of cheating because I am from a technical background, but my landing page in our system is a dashboard with charts and data listed out, and it's something I built myself, just pointing and clicking, and it's only for me, right? It's my stuff, and I can share it with whoever I want. Back in the old days, I won't date myself too much, but when we first did this, it was, hey, this is the dashboard I want. Can you go build it? And then you wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it comes back and like, well, it's not really what I wanted. Can we change this data point? Yeah, it'll be another 2 or 3 weeks. And honestly, it makes my job easier, especially at my level when someone comes to me and wants information, how many clients do we have in this area? How many customers bought this product last year? Or simple stuff like, who are your top 3 salespeople? This is stuff I already have. And if I don't have it, it takes a matter of minutes to go through and find it in the system without having to look dumb because I can't get to it, right?
Well, I mean, I think just what you mentioned there, like something that would take 4 weeks just to kind of maybe get close. I mean, it sounds like it could take you just an afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's really hard to someone new to the platform too, to explain it. We kind of take baby steps and reiterate it, but it really is a lot easier and simpler than it used to be. And, people push reports. Got to have reports, Here's the top 12 reports I do daily for my job. And, we just tell them that those are great and we can do exactly what you want, or we can just show you how to do a dashboard, make a list. And if you really do need a report, again, it's something you walk through in the system yourself. You don't have to be dependent or reliant on someone else to do it for you.
That's the beauty of all the modern platforms. Really is. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking your time and kind of giving us a better idea of Dynamic CE and just kind of everything that it can do, some steps you can take and kind of where we're at. So I appreciate you coming on and hope to have you again in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Ryan. And I appreciate all the hair and makeup tips before we get started.
Anytime.